Good morning. How's it going, guys? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome back. Nice to be back. Beautiful. Isn't that beautiful? How's it going, guys? Good morning, good morning. Yeah, you probably saw the announcement that I made. Challenge complete. Family Cruise Vacation Fund. Challenge complete in about a month and a half. All right, maybe a few days over a month and a half, but that was pretty crazy. That was pretty crazy. Um, so if any of you are new and you don't know what I'm talking about a month and a half ago, maybe just a little bit over that, I started incorporating a new idea, a new concept within my trading, combining the RSI into supply and demand analysis. And what I was discovering was something very, very interesting with respect to the RSI and how price was reacting to supply and demand zones. So I figured, you know what? I'm going to test out some ideas, and I think it's going to work extremely well, but I don't want to risk the usual amount that I risk in my account. So I'm going to take on some trades and I'm going to risk maybe $250 per trade, and then we'll see how it goes. And I said, well, instead of just doing that, why don't I make a challenge for myself? And so I had a conversation with my wife and I said, wouldn't it be fun for me to put on a challenge where instead I'm just putting on these trades, I actually have a goal to achieve. And I said, how about I raise money for a cruise? And she's like, oh my gosh, why not? So for this coming winter, because last winter was just so brutal, we're looking for any excuse to get out of here. So I went on the Royal Caribbean website because I've cruised with them before. They're really nice cruise ships. And I found a wonderful 7 night cruise, Caribbean cruise with multiple stops. Beautiful, beautiful ship. And I did some calculations, and I figured about $5,000 Canadian would be a good amount of money to make to cover the costs of the cruise. So I set that as a goal: make $5,000 using this new methodology, and I did it in about a month and a half. It was pretty crazy. It was pretty crazy. It was a lot quicker than I thought. And remember, risking like 200, $250 each trade, right? So we got there pretty quickly, and it was quite amazing. So over the weekend, um, it was Father's Day. Went down to the city and went to go visit my mother and my father-in-law, and was thinking about, all right, like my trade hit target yesterday, but over the weekend I was so sure that the target was going to be hit. I was already thinking about the next challenge. So I was thinking about what the next challenge could be, and I made a little bit of an announcement to members yesterday. The rest of my members I haven't made this announcement to, but I will be putting together a blog post and detailing this next challenge. But if you guys have ever heard of compound trading, compound trading is my next goal. What's compound trading? Well, it's basically where I have an idea where I'm gonna put on a trade or two, and I'm gonna make $1,000. Okay, so I'm gonna grab $1,000 out of the market, and with that $1,000, I'm gonna put on a trade where I'm willing to risk 25% of that $1,000. Now, if I win that next trade, I'll have $1,750 because I'll be aiming for 3 to 1, okay, for every trade. If I lose $250, right? And then I have to work with 750. And then the next trade I take, I'll be risking 25% of 750. But if I win, I'll have 1750. So the next trade I take, I will risk 25% of the 1750. So I had this idea. I'm like, risking 25%. Now let's say let's just put a very conservative 60% win rate. My win rate is actually higher than 60%, but I said, let's have a very conservative win rate of 70%. If I have a win rate of 70% and I'm willing to risk 25% on each trade, how could this play out? What would it look like? aiming for 3-to-1, 60% win rate, 25% on each trade. So I opened up my phone because I was very curious, and I said, well, I was doing this all while I was driving down to the city, and I said, hey, ChatGPT, do me a favor. I want you to give me an idea of what it would look like if I was to take this situation and trade it. What would be what would be the outcome? And I said, okay, well, you have to take into consideration that the outcome can be very different, right? Because you may win the first 3 trades or lose the first 3 trades, and that would make a difference by the end. But I was very interested to find out what the result would be. If you had a 60% win rate and you're aiming for 1 to 3, here's what it told me. It was pretty shocking. And when I saw the answer, I was like, I got so excited. I was like, well, I just pretty much did that. I took, I don't know, roughly around 10, 11, 12 trades to reach this goal. Um, I think over 60% win rate. I haven't calculated it, but around there, over it for sure. And some trades 3-to-1, some trades even more than that. So I'm like, well, if I was to do that, but every trade risked 25% of the money that I made in the previous trade or lost, what would it be? So it did some analysis for me, and I computed it. What would happen if I took 10 trades? And basically, it said, here's some results, but for me to give you more detailed results and more accurate results, I have to run this simulation at least 10,000 times to give you an average of what the results would be. And so, what do you think the results would be? What do you think the results would be if you if you started with $1,000 and took 10 trades? What do you think the results would be if you had 60% win rate and you were aiming for 1 to 3? Oh, take some guesses, man. You guys are not going to believe this. What do you think it would be? I'll read you some stuff here while you think about that. Since it's probabilistic, the final amount depends on the actual sequence of wins and losses. So the best way to estimate your expected final balance is to simulate it multiple times, like 10,000 simulations, and calculate the average result. So it ran the simulation, and basically the end result is that you can easily 10 times your money, okay? In 10 trades. 10 trades, starting with $1,000, 10 times your money. And then I asked it to run, well, what if I was to do 25 trades? Okay, make it a little bit longer, 25 trades. What are we looking at? And here's the results of 25 trades. After 25 trades, your average final balance would be $1.9 million. Okay. But the most realistic outcome is $248,991, starting with $1,000. Okay. Minimum final balance, meaning the worst possible case scenario is losing and having a final balance of $121. Maximum final balance, meaning winning every single trade, like just being lucky and every single trade was a winner, 510 million. Okay, but what are the chances of that? Well, so 248,000. Okay, 248,000. Running it 25 times. It's pretty crazy. So I thought to myself, you know what? I'm going to try this out. ChatGPT can say whatever it wants to say. Who knows? You know, I see a lot of fake people online that are saying that they're blowing up this amount to that amount, and you know, you hear these stories all the time. But the problem is when you look at what they're doing, the actual trades that they're taking, they're really not even taking trades, okay? They're pretending to take trades. And you got to be careful because those people, the ones that contacted lawyers because they almost got in trouble, read the disclaimer in their YouTube descriptions. Really interesting. You'll love it. You'll love it. Actually, I gotta show this to you guys. I gotta show it to you. You're not gonna believe it because one guy that's extremely popular and he's posting videos online. He is, you're not going to believe this.
Really,
You're not going to believe this. You're not going to believe this. Okay. I'm going to do a screenshot of what's written in his YouTube channel in the description. In the description, guys, right underneath the video. Okay. There. You could see the name. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on, hold on, hold on. I'm blocking. This is what I'm going to do. Hold on for a second. I'm going to screenshot it. And I'm going to block some stuff out here. Hopefully I get it all out. I don't want to, because it doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter who it is. What matters is that you see what I'm talking about because there's so many of these people doing this. It's just, it's ridiculous and it's so disrespectful. So disrespectful. I think I covered everything here. Now, I'm going to show you something. Watch. I'm going to shrink me so you can see this, okay? Can you see that? Can you see what I have up here? All right. So this person makes videos and they're like, I'm going to blow up this account from this amount to this amount, and I'm going to help somebody do it, blah, blah, blah. But I want you to read what's down here, okay? Also, since the trades have not been executed, the results may have under or overcompensated for the impact, if any, of certain market factors, including but not limited to lack of liquidity. Simulated trading programs in general are also subject to the fact that they're designed with the benefit of hindsight. No representation is being made that any account will or likely achieve a profit or loss, okay? It's simulation, folks. It's simulated results. No trades are actually taken. They're telling you right then and there, you can't sue me when you figure out I'm a liar and everything I'm saying in the video is not true. You can't sue me because I've written here that the trades are simulated. Even though in the video I'm saying, look at me, I did it, real life, I'm a millionaire now. Even though in the video they're saying that they're doing it, in the description it says it's simulated, they're not doing it. So you can't sue, all right? You can't say, oh, you said you did it, so that's why I joined your program, okay? So anyways, there's a lot of people pretending to do what I'm about to do, but they're not doing it, okay? So I thought about it and I was like, I wonder if it's statistically possible because my win rate's pretty good. I'm good at finding trades. I have this new system that I'm incorporating, the RSI, and I'm doing extremely well with it. And I got to see if it's possible, if I can do it. Because if anybody can do it, I can do it. Why? Because I'm really trading, all right? I've shown you guys every single trade. If you're in the Telegram channel, you're following us on X, I've shown you every single trade I took in this recent challenge. Every single one. I showed you where I was entering. I showed you where my stop loss and where my target was. When I opened the trade, I showed it to you. When I managed the trade, I showed it to you. When I closed the trade, I showed it to you. Everything from beginning to end. All right? So I'm going to do the same thing again with this challenge. And I'm going to keep some keep a detailed track of each trade, what the trade was, how it moved, all that stuff. Because I need to keep track of the profit and loss that's made on each trade. And then I'm going to use that to determine how much I have to risk on the next trade. So it's going to be the compound trading challenge. Um, my wife gave me a really cool name. The risk to riches challenge. I like that one. The risk to riches challenge. So if there's anybody that can do it, it's me. And so we're going to try it out. And we're going to see what happens in a live situation. What happens when you take on, I'm going to do a 10 trade challenge. We're going to see what happens when you take 10 trades, aim for 60% win rate or higher, and aim for 3 to 1, risking 25% each trade. We'll see what takes place. Okay? Yeah, you have to stop listening to guys like him. Yeah. Well, they're all over, man. They're all over. And you can tell that they're fakes. I mean, I spent just a little bit of time tracking what they do and following what they do. And it was, you know, they reveal themselves to you. They reveal themselves to you, you know. You just listen to what they have to say. When somebody says, listen, man, I'm not going to lie, but this and this and this. And it's like, well, why would you lie? I'm not going to lie, but, well, why would you lie? There's so much. I mean, I could go on for about an hour talking to you about some of the things that I noticed, but all you got to do is watch how they talk, watch how they treat people, and watch how they have such little regard for the money that they make. Okay, because the money that they make is from selling BS subscriptions and courses and all sorts of nonsense. These guys don't really know how to trade. So what are they selling you? They're selling you what? Regurgitated nonsense that they got from somebody else. Most of their money goes to hiring people to edit videos so that they could capture you emotionally and doing website graphics and all that stuff. And they take the rest of the money that they make from people that are paying them for their ridiculous courses, and they're buying their cars and renting their cars and then driving them around. If you see what little regard they have for people and for others and for property, you'll realize this is how much disregard they have for everybody. You don't want to do business with people like that. All right, with that being said, I'll go into more details with this challenge on a post that I'll make. But I just wanted to briefly take a look at the current situation with the markets. Did you see my 4-hour target on gold? Remember this trade signal? Yeah, it's still working. Bulletproof target was hit, right? And then we have, look what happened here. Isn't that pretty incredible? Look what happened when it hit my 4-hour target. You see how price just dropped? Isn't that just nuts? Yeah. Well, we locate our targets based on institutional areas of buying and selling. So if we think that the banks are going to take profits there, that's where we locate our targets. And then we see the sell-off taking place from there. So I think that we're still getting ready for a move to the upside. I do think that. I think this is not done yet. So we got to be patient with this one, okay? Be patient. Daily time frames in play, weekly time frames in play, 4-hour time frames in play. This is just a short-term profit taking on their positions. But we got demand down here on the 4-hour time frame, which is still in play, and any type of move to the downside will be likely reversed from that area. Okay, so we'll watch and see, waiting for a next entry. Looks like price hasn't gotten past these peaks that we have here in the back. So we just got to be, patient with that. Let's see, oil, what's been happening with oil. Did you see, I guess only some of you saw. If you're members, you would have seen the Aruja report that I submitted. How before this situation in the Middle East took place, the banks were already offloading short positions and increasing their long positions. So it's like I've said so many times before, you know, these world events, they don't just happen sporadically without the knowledge of the big banking cartel. You know, how it works, I don't know, but I've seen too many instances where the banking cartel are shifting positions and preparing before a world event takes place. It's like somehow they have some foreknowledge, because there's just not that many coincidences. Watching silver. Okay, watching silver for an entry long. That's still setting up. Nat gas is starting to pump itself to the upside, which is good. I got a position on that. So we're just waiting for that to start building. Was underwater on it for a while, but now it's in the green, and I'm just waiting for that. This is one of the trades that I took for the challenge, so I wasn't risking a lot. Um, and it's still working. I don't want to close it because I still think it's a good trade. Aussie not doing much, so I wouldn't be doing much with that one. Euro. So we closed off our Euro trade. This one was a real nice one. I added to it based on the 15-minute chart signal right here. And it worked out quite amazingly well. That was the signal there, and target was here. Okay. I added to my position here. And it played out perfectly. It was a beautiful trade. Okay. And this was a 4.67 risk to reward trade. And I took it on Friday. Took it on Friday, closed it on Monday. So quick. 4.67, eh? Larger than 1 to 3. 1 to 3 risk to reward ratio is easy breezy. In my opinion, very easy. I never go for 1 to 3. I'm always aiming for larger than that. So that worked out quite nicely, hit our target, and then look, price pushed to the downside. So I'm going to be watching for some new trade setups. Let's take it off there. Okay, so with this new challenge, I'm going to be looking for some good trade setups. I'm going to be focusing on the RSI system. That's for sure. Because one thing with the RSI system, here I'll show you really quickly, is that when the trade gets triggered, RSI is low, okay? But when you get your 3 to 1, RSI is usually at a point where it's high, it's ready to retrace. So all I have to do is capture that short move that is like very high odds, and I got my 3 to 1. Okay, that's it. Capture that short move, and I got my 3 to 1. So I'm going to be focusing on just capturing those short moves. Those are high probability, very short moves off of a higher time frame area of demand or supply if it's a short, and just capturing that move. 3 to 1, 3 to 1, 3 to 1, 3 to 1. So I'm super pumped because I think I can do a lot better than 60% win rate. So I'm going to be looking at Euro US dollar for more upside, gold for more upside, silver for more upside. Okay, these are the ones that I'm going to be focusing on. I'm also going to be looking at stocks as well, obviously. We're going to look through stocks really quickly at the end of looking at the currencies. Pound wasn't the greatest one because we had supply in place, so that's been holding price down for quite some time. So I'm not too interested in trading that one. Kiwi doing nothing, just like the Aussie. That was to be expected. US CAD, beautiful. Look at the move to the downside on this one. Just continues to drop, continues to drop. Let me just take a sip of my coffee here. All right. So I'll be looking for shorts on US CAD, but I want some kind of a pull up first. A pull up, and then I'll look for shorts. US Swiss having a hard time dropping. Why is that? This is why we took a short on the US CAD and not the other ones, because we had demand in play. When demand's in play, price is going to stall. It's not going to be dropping free flowing like other charts. US CAD dropped because there's no demand in play. Okay. And we have also US dollar Japanese yen, and it's not dropping. Why is it not dropping? Well, because the banks are profit taking on short positions right now. All right. When they amass a short position, it causes price to drop. But when they profit take on short positions, it usually causes price to go up. So they are just holding it. Even though the dollar's been weak, it's maintaining because of the profit taking. Okay. But eventually, I believe there will be a nice setup. It's just not time right now. Okay, so I'll be looking at those markets and watching to see what happens. Look at Bitcoin. I was talking about Bitcoin yesterday, pointed out this area of supply. being created on the 4-hour time frame. We have daily supply that came into play. Now 4-hour time frame supply is in play. So this is telling me the banks are focusing on selling right now. Okay. And we do have an area of demand just below price right here. So if any selling comes into play and continues to come into play, we can expect some kind of a rally from that area. So could be a potential long trade there. Okay. Now let's go over to the S&P 500. So the S&P 500, when we look at the weekly time frame, it's removed the weekly area of supply. So this is opening up the chart for move higher over time. Okay, is it going to happen right now? Who knows? But this is really good because I'm looking at entering into some stocks, long some stocks, and we want the market to be telling us that the banks are interested in removing their obstacles to allow price to go higher. So that's what we're getting on the S&P. We're looking at Nasdaq. It's like on the verge of breaking through some supply. It looks pretty strong, so I'll be looking for going long as well there. And the only thing that's really stopping price from really shooting up on the Dow Jones is this weekly area of supply here. On the weekly time frame, we got supply that's been contacted. Okay. Other than that, bonds a little bit up, a little bit down, a little bit up, a little bit down. It's taking its sweet time. That's okay. I'm collecting dividends on that. Let's look at the Mag 7. Apple's not doing much. Amazon is making its move to the upside. Weekly supply is in play. Once that gets taken out, it's going to shoot up. Google is already buying. Okay, banks are buying Google. This is looking pretty good for a move to the upside. Meta is extremely strong. Some supply came into play. It looks like it's dropping price pre-market. Wait for monthly supply out, and then this will fly. Microsoft, boy oh boy, new demand being created, starting to drop, not bad. Nvidia, look how well Nvidia has been performing ever since it came to our institutional buy zone here, right? Once weekly supply gets taken out, this sucker is flying. And Tesla. I'm waiting for Tesla for a new signal, waiting for it to drop a little bit more or remove supply. Either way, easy breezy. Okay, so many stocks setting up, so many charts setting up. It's just a matter of being patient and waiting for those signals to trigger. And if you want to be on board with us, make sure you join us on our Telegram channel. Our Telegram channel is where we send out the majority of our information. Even if you're a member, join our Telegram because we make announcements and stuff through there. All right, folks. Y'all good? Y'all set? Beautiful. I think I'll let you go there. Gave you a lot of information. So really excited. Again, congrats. We deserve a big congratulations for our success. And I'm going to treat the family for a nice family cruise. And I will be sharing pictures of that family cruise with you guys. You guys could have done the same. I shared every single trade. I hope you guys jumped on some. I know many of you did. And so congrats to that. And stay tuned for the next challenge. Take care. Thanks for joining. We'll talk to you guys soon.